Hello there, Assalamualaikum. I'm Shira Abang Mansur and you're now watching TVS Nightline. The headlines. WHO has instructed full protection of Gaza's health facilities. Malaysia is ready to deploy its forces to Palestine. And Ministry of Digital and Telecommunication will address unusable telco towers in Sarawak. Hospitals and other health facilities must be protected from bombardment and military use. The call was made by World Health Organization (WHO) in a statement amid the ongoing Israel indiscriminate attacks on the Gaza Strip since October 7th.
It's sad. Thousands of people inside the Gaza Strip continue to need access to urgent and essential health services amid shortages of medicines, health supplies, and other aids such as fuel, water, and food. The statement read, "Those in serious need include thousands of seriously injured civilians, many of them children. These patients," it said, "must be able to have sustained access to healthcare inside Gaza. There are more than 1,000 people who need kidney dialysis to stay alive, more than 2,000 patients on cancer therapy, 45,000 people with cardiovascular diseases, and more than 60,000 people with diabetes." WHO also welcomed Egypt's decision to accept 81 injured and sick people from the Gaza Strip for treatment. Based on the statement, the Al-Arish Hospital will be the main first referral hospital, while onward referral arrangements to second-line hospitals in Egypt are also in place.
The Malaysian Armed Forces stand ready to serve as peacekeepers in Palestine should they receive the necessary instructions and mandates to do so. According to Defence Minister Muhammad Hassan, the Malaysian Battalion of Peacekeeping Forces Malbat, operating under the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon UNIFIL mandate, is also fully prepared to conduct the evacuation of Malaysian citizens residing in conflict-stricken areas if such a need arises. Nevertheless, he emphasized that the decision regarding the deployment of peacekeeping forces falls within the purview of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, not the Ministry of Defence.
Jika bangsa-bangsa bersatu berkehendakkan Malaysia untuk menjadi sebagai salah satu anggota pasukan pengaman, kita akan membuat keputusan sewajarnya. Ya. Tetapi ini akan dibuat melalui Kementerian Luar Negeri. Kementerian Negeri akan dihubungi dan kerajaan akan bincang dalam Majlis Keselamatan Negara, Kabinet. Apa jua keputusan kerajaan akan tentera bersedia. Ya. Kami bersedia. Ya atau tidak, we are always ready.
The Malaysian Armed Forces is ready to be deployed as peacekeepers in Palestine if instructed and mandated to do so. Defence Minister Muhammad Hassan said the Malaysian Battalion of Peacekeeping Forces, Malbat, under the mandate of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, is also prepared if needed to carry out the evacuation of Malaysian citizens in conflict areas. Meanwhile, he stressed that the decision to deploy peacekeeping forces falls under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, not the Ministry of Defence. The federal government and the 5 leading mobile service providers have reached an agreement to jointly address the matter of bare telecommunication towers in Sarawak. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fazil said Celcom DG, Maxis, U-Mobile, TM Tech and YTL Communications will collaboratively contribute the required funds to support tower operators in delivering 4G services. He mentioned that the funding for this initiative would amount to 207 million ringgit, with the federal government contributing 119.4 million ringgit and the mobile service provider companies chipping in with 87.3 million ringgit. This financial support will be spread over 3 years, commencing next year and extending until 2026.
Sebanyak 3,000 kawasan pedalaman dan luar bandar telah dikenal pasti dan akan dapat manfaat di bawah inisiatif ini. Dengan adanya inisiatif ini, ia akan menamatkan isu menara tanpa kuali yang telah berlarutan sejak 2019 di Sarawak. Pengoperasian menara-menara ini bagi penyediaan perkhidmatan 4G adalah secara berperingkat dan akan bermula seawal Januari 2024 jika tidak lebih awal dari itu.
He said this in response to a question by Miri MP Chew Chun Man on the actions to overcome the issue of towers with no dish in Sarawak in the Dewan Rakyat on Thursday. Meanwhile, Fahmi said the ministry will present a paper at the National Council for Local Government today to start discussions with all state governments to resolve issues related to the construction of telecommunications towers across the country. The construction of the new Royal Malaysian Navy base, the Naval Region 4 Mawila 4 headquarters in Samalaju, Bintulu, will begin promptly upon the receipt of an official letter from the Sarawak government. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Mohamad Hassan said the strategic significance of Bintulu, with the base situated near the Kasawari gas field and Beting Patinggi Ali within the exclusive economic zone of the South China Sea. Mohamad noted, apart from strengthening the national waters, the ministry has also decided to construct a Royal Malaysian Air Force RMAF headquarters at Bintulu Airport.
Jadi ini jelas menunjukkan komitmen kerajaan, khususnya melalui Kementerian Pertahanan, untuk kita pastikan pesisiran pantai kita, laut kita, sempadan kita di Kalimantan dan juga udara kita sentiasa berada dalam keadaan yang kesiapsiagaan.
He said this to the reporters after a courtesy call to the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Jari Tunopeng at Wisma Bapa Malaysia on Thursday. Other matters discussed encompassed the approval for the construction of the 31st Infantry Brigade headquarters, border regiment and border control posts, and disclosed that the construction of new border control posts has been approved.
Dan ini akan dapat memudahkan kita untuk anggota tentera, regimen sempadan kita untuk bertugas mengawal sempadan. Dan juga kita perlu melihat kepada aset-aset kita punya regimen sempadan ini kerana kawasan keluasannya yang besar, yang luas, untuk mereka ada aset yang sesuai untuk mereka meronda kawasan sempadan supaya kegiatan rentas sempadan ini dapat kita kurangkan.
Out of the 7 new posts, 3 have been completed, while the remaining 4 are still in the process of construction. Secondary and higher learning students in Sarawak are gearing up for the finals of the Premier's English and Bahasa Melayu Debate Challenge 2023. Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development Sarawak MEITD, Datuk Seri Roland Sagah Wee In applauds this competition, highlighting its role in sharpening critical thinking skills and promoting intellectual discourse among young minds.
We promote debating and critical thinking skills, as well as to encourage intellectual discourse among students in Sarawak. This debate will create a space and an opportunity for students to build their self-confidence to speak in front of an audience through public speaking. Hopefully, through this platform, we will eventually have students who will become citizens of high intellect in our state.
He also noted that conducting the competition in both English and Bahasa Malaysia languages can contribute to raising proficiency standards in both languages during the discourse. The debate challenge was organised in partnership with University Technology Mara Cawangan Sarawak UITM and Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka DBP Sarawak, involving over 200 students with participation from over 40 secondary schools and institutions of higher learning in Sarawak. Participants are divided to 2 categories, namely Category A for the secondary school level and Category B for the Institutes of Higher Learning IHL and Form 6 students. The Bahasa Malaysia edition will see its quarterfinals and semi-finals held from November 6 to 7, 2023 in Kuching, while the preliminary rounds, quarterfinal and semi-finals for the English edition of the challenge were held in September at UiTM Semarahan campus. Both finals will be held on the November 8, 2023 at Borneo Cultures Museum, Kuching.
Possessing autonomy in education allows Sarawak to independently to govern, adapt and tailor its educational approach to meet the specific needs and aspiration of its local population, thus providing the opportunity to foster regional development, enhance the quality of education and promote economic growth tailored to the unique circumstances of Sarawak. Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development Sarawak MEITD Datuk Seri Roland Sagahwi In stressed that by strategically charting the course of the state's educational assessment system, numerous possibilities marking a significant achievement for its education landscape and its pursuit of economic development.
We are also emphasizing a lot on STEM and TVS. As you know, intellectually, people may be good, but when it comes to the actual work, we are not too sure about that. But there are people who have a leaning, not really well-versed academically, but when it comes to the skills, they are much better. So if you just look at the students this way, generally we can't tell where they are. So we hope to be able to chart a direction for them, because that is very important for Sarawak's development, especially in view of our new direction and policies as to the sort of economy that we are going to pursue.
Commenting further, when asked on the progress of Sarawak's assessment system, Sagah mentioned that his ministry is currently in the initial stages of development. This is a vital component of their overarching strategy to enhance and prevent the assessment system from becoming stagnant.
This is not in conflict with the federal policy. This is only a way for us to improve the education system in our state. And as you know, that's why we request for more autonomy, because these things are, you could consider it as actually just administrative. And that is because we want to have the best for our people. And, well, if we do this one, it will be at our own expense.
Youth in Sarawak are urged to acquire essential skills that will drive the state's economic transformation. Senior lecturer from the Faculty of Economics and Business of University of Malaysia Sarawak UNIMAS, Dr. Asmaul Husna Haris Fazila said, the economic future of Sarawak relies on the youth, making it imperative for them to develop the right skills.
Dan kita perlu lihat kepada konteks yang lebih besar sebenarnya. Kita lihat dalam negeri kita sini, Sarawak. Sarawak memang seperti yang saya maklumkan tengah agresif menuju ke arah transformasi ekonomi baharu, di mana perancangan yang begitu teliti dan rapi perlu dilakukan, terutama dalam contoh kita ingin menjadi negeri pengeluar hidrogen hijau, tangkapan karbon dan sebagainya, yang memerlukan kemahiran tertentu yang saya yakin perlu kita ketengahkan melalui pendidikan formal ataupun informal.
Sarawak has enhanced its educational landscape by establishing a range of STEM-focused higher learning institutions. Additionally, it has also established vocational and skill development centres like the Centre of Technology Excellence Sarawak, Centex.
Kita ada pendidikan berbentuk formal, kita ada 4 buah universiti yang dimiliki oleh Sarawak. Sebagai contohnya, kita ada Swinburne, kita ada juga Curtin University, kita ada juga ICATS dan juga kita ada juga UTS, University Technology of Sarawak. Itu di peringkat pendidikan formal. Dan juga kita ada institusi yang menawarkan pendidikan berasaskan kemahiran. Sebagai contohnya kita ada Sentex. Kita ada juga Institut Kemahiran Negeri ataupun Institut Kemahiran MARA, di mana belia kita perlu, saya rasa perlu merujuk kepada institusi ini untuk berkembang maju ke hadapan.
He said this during the JEPAK Decides on Thursday.
Coming up right after the break, JEPAK by-election day 13 wrap up. And on world news, Afghan refugees detained in Pakistan for staying. Only on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the Election Commission (EC) anticipates a 65% voter turnout for the upcoming JEPAK by-election on November 4th. And this projection is based on the 62% turnout observed in the 2021 Sarawak state election. And its chairman, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh, expressed hope that the voters in JEPAK will participate in the election by casting their ballots on that date. Now, with less than 2 days before polling day, all aspiring candidates are in their fifth gear in their respective campaigns. And this includes Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS candidate Iskandar Turki, who I believe is currently engaged in a door-to-door campaign at Ijau Undah, Sungai Sebemban Longhouse. And we have our reporter Hafizah Muzamil for the latest update. Over to you, Hafiz.
Terima kasih rakan tugas di studio. Izinkan saya untuk menggunakan bahasa Malaysia untuk menyampaikan liputan di sini. Apa yang saya boleh kongsikan, hari ke-13 kempen pilihan raya kecil PRK Dewan Undangan Negeri Don JEPAK ini, suasananya bahangnya kian terasa, yang mana ketiga-tiga calon yang bertanding, Iskandar Turki mewakili GPS, Stevenson Joseph Sumbang yang mewakili PBK dan juga Chiang Jeping yang mewakili aspirasi, giat dengan pecutan terakhir. Berbaki kurang daripada 48 jam lagi untuk meraih serba banyak undi daripada 22,804 pengundi yang layak mengundi pada 4 November nanti, pada Sabtu nanti. Dan bagi kem gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS, pada hari ke-13 ini, calonnya iaitu Iskandar Turki memberi tumpuan atau fokus kepada kempen di rumah panjang dengan sebanyak 5 hingga 6 rumah panjang beliau hadir untuk berkempen di sana. Yang mana saya boleh kongsikan sikit, pada jam 11 pagi tadi sehingga 1 tengah hari, beliau bersama-sama dengan pengarah pilihan raya GPS iaitu Datuk Ahmad Awan Tengah Ali Hassan yang juga Timbalan Premier Sarawak itu menghadiri kempen di rumah panjang Rafael, yang mana di situ beliau menyantuni penduduk sekitar 200 penduduk di rumah panjang itu. Dan menerusi apa yang diperkatakan beliau kepada saya sempat menemu bual beliau dan beliau berkata beliau menerima sokongan padu sepanjang 13 hari berkempen di JEPAK ini, khususnya di kawasan rumah panjang. Dan sedikit perkongsian lagi, pada malam ini, sekitar jam 9 malam hingga ke 12 malam ini, calon GPS Iskandar Turki menghadiri satu lagi siri kempen di rumah panjang. Kempen yang terakhir bagi hari yang ke-13 ini yang turut dibantu oleh pengarah pilihan raya GPS iaitu Datuk Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan. Dan di sebelah petang tadi kami mendapat maklumat bahawa pengerusi SPR, pengerusi Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya Malaysia, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh memaklumkan pihak SPR menjangkakan sebanyak 65% pengundi akan keluar mengundi pada 4 November ini. Yang mana 65% ini jumlahnya adalah meningkat berbanding dengan pilihan raya negeri PRN 2021 bagi Dun Jepak, iaitu pada ketika itu adalah 63%. Dan menurut beliau lagi, pihak SPR juga menjangkakan keputusan akan diumumkan seawal-awalnya sekitar jam 9 malam. Dan sedikit lagi perkongsian, pihaknya Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh turut memaklumkan bahawa sebanyak 12 pusat mengundi dengan 45 saluran dibuka untuk pengundi-pengundi mengundi menjalankan tanggungjawab mereka pada 4 hari bulan nanti. Dan apa yang saya boleh rangkumkan pada hari ke-13 ini, bahangnya kian terasa kerana bukan sahaja calon berdebar-debar untuk menantikan hari itu, tetapi sebenarnya kami sempat menumbual beberapa penduduk di sekitar Jepak ini yang mana mereka sebenarnya teruja untuk mengundi, untuk menjalankan tanggungjawab mereka, terutamanya bagi pengundi undi 18, pengundi pertama yang akan mengundi pada PRK Dun Jepak ini bagi menentukan siapakah yang bakal diberi mandat untuk menerajui Jepak ini bagi menggantikan mantan Adun Jepak Allahyarham Datuk Talib Zulkifli. Rakan setugas, saya kira itu sahaja perkongsian yang saya dapat bawakan untuk jam ini. Saya Hafizul Muzammil dan juga jurukamera Fikir Razak melaporkan daripada Jepak Bintulu. Kembali semula ke rakan setugas.
Thank you so much, Hafiz. Now, the Ministry of Education, MOE, is set to provide its recommendations to the Sarawak government regarding the proposal for the development of its own assessment system to replace the Ujian Pencapaian Sekolah Rendah, UPSR, for Year 6 students in all state-run schools. Education Minister Fadlina Sidek conveyed that this step aligns with Ministry's commitment to promoting a comprehensive evaluation of the education system, moving beyond a sole reliance on examinations to assess the system's overall strength.
Saya fikir kita akan memberikan input kepada Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak, khususnya di peringkat Kementerian Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak, kerana yang kita nak angkat hari ini adalah soal pentaksiran, kekuatan keseluruhan holistik dan bukan berasaskan peperiksaan. Jadi kalau kerangkanya itu yang nak dibangunkan itu adalah mengukuhkan pentaksiran, pastinya kita akan sokong dan dukung kerana ia adalah hala tuju Kementerian Pendidikan ketika ini, pembangunan holistik, pentaksiran dan bukannya exam-oriented.
Inquired about the potential expansion of the proposal to encompass the entire country, Fadlina responded that it was imperative to seek input from the ministry first, considering that the idea had only recently been introduced. Yesterday, the Sarawak State Minister of Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Datuk Seri Roland Sagahui-In, announced Sarawak's intention to create its own assessment system as a replacement for the UPSR. This proposal is currently under examination with the belief that the UPSR is the primary indicator of student performance. Additionally, it is emphasized that this assessment system will help determine the appropriate educational stream for students as they transition into secondary education. Thank you for staying with TVS Nightline. More than 165,000 Afghans have fled Pakistan in the month since Islamabad issued an ultimatum to 1.7 million people to leave or face arrest and deportation. Officials said the majority rushed to the border in the past several days as the November 1st deadline approached and police began to open up dozens of holding centres to detain arrested Afghans.
अब जो आज हमने जब कार्रवाई स्टार्ट की तो जिनका डाटा हमने इकट्ठा किया था तो हमने देखा बहुत सारे लोग मैक्सिमम जा चुके हैं, उनके घर खाली हैं। जो लोग रह के जैसे आज हमने 450 लोगों को आज किया है, इसी तरह नेक्स्ट डे हम अपनी कार्रवाई करेंगे और 13,759 कंप्लीट करेंगे। ये हमारा फेज़ 1 है।
Officials at Pakistan's busiest border worked tirelessly through the early hours of Thursday morning to clear a massive queue of 28,000 people that extended for 7 kilometers. Millions of Afghan refugees have sought refuge in Pakistan over the years, with an estimated 600,000 arriving since the Taliban seized power in August 2021, imposing strict Islamic law. Pakistan has cited the need to protect its welfare and security as the reason for deportations in response to a surge in attacks attributed to militants operating from Afghanistan. While the border traffic has lessened, authorities encourage undocumented Afghans to leave voluntarily, with police conducting search operations on the Afghan side of the border. Officials are overwhelmed by the scale of the exodus, as some return to Afghanistan for the first time in their lives.
And wrapping up the news tonight, Japan has initiated the release of a third batch of treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant. This release, which involves 7,800 tons of water used to cool reactors following a 2011 tsunami, has prompted bans on Japanese seafood by China and Russia. Tokyo Electric Power, TEPCO, has stated that the release process is expected to conclude in approximately 17 days.
Since late August, Japan has been gradually releasing the equivalent of 540 Olympic swimming pools worth of wastewater stored at the Fukushima Daiichi power plant. The need for this release arose as the facility was running out of space for additional water tanks, which were required for the more hazardous task of removing radioactive fuel and debris from 3 damaged reactors. Japan asserts that the released water is harmless and significantly diluted with seawater. The release is planned to take place gradually over several decades.
And that will be all of it tonight. I'm Shira Mansur. Thank you for watching.